What's up, everybody? Ron Harris here, MD Online Editor. And, I get a lot of questions from bodybuilders, aspiring bodybuilders, looking to improve their physiques, to, get bigger, get leaner, people that really just want to achieve their physique goals. And they ask things like, what's the absolute best workout split for gains? What's the very best diet for making gains? What's the optimal, the perfect steroid cycle for gains? Honestly, there's no perfect way to train, no perfect way to eat for everybody, there's no secret, there's no magic bullet. There is a secret, and it's just consistency. Consistency. Nobody wants to hear that because it's boring and it's time consuming. What do I mean by that? I mean, doing the right things every day, every week, every month, day after day, week after week, month after month, for years. That's how really exceptional physiques are built. Now, I'm putting aside things like genetics and drugs. Yes, people with great genetics are going to look great. Drugs will make you look better than not being on drugs. Put that aside for a minute. The key to long-term success, long-term progress in bodybuilding is very, very simple. It's being consistent. Now, I've known tons of people who had physical gifts. They had genetics that could have been really good bodybuilders, but they weren't consistent. They would train hard for a while, then they would not train. They would just disappear. They'd get bored or something would come up with their life and they'd be gone for months, and they'd come back, half the size. Or people would eat really well and be dedicated to it for a little while, but then they'd stop. They get tired of cooking all the meals. They get tired of eating, 5, 6, 7 times a day. It's a chore. Bodybuilding is not the most exciting pursuit. What I mean by that is it's a lot of repetition, but that repetition is the key to long-term success. You have to think about it like putting, pennies or dollars or whatever in a piggy bank. It seems like you're barely doing anything. You're barely putting anything into it. Every workout, every meal, but they all add up in the long term. Another way to think about it is it's a bucket, and every workout, every good meal, every good night's sleep is some more water in that bucket. But this bucket has a little hole in the bottom. It's got a leak. That means if you don't keep putting water in, if you don't keep getting that bucket more and more full, it's gonna empty out. You're gonna lose a lot of the progress you've made. And that's what happens to most people, is they'll make progress for a little while because they are on track. They're working out hard every day. They're getting 5, 6, 7 quality meals a day. They're getting 8 hours of quality sleep a night for a while, and then they'll start to slack in one or more or all of those areas. And the people that are in this for the long haul, like myself, I've been doing this, I'm going to be 51 in September. I started training regularly when I was 14. I started bodybuilding type of training where I was training the whole body at 18. Started really incorporating the food aspect of it maybe by around 19, 20 is when I finally got the nutrition aspect handled. Even then, my progress was never astronomical, but I always made little gains on top of each other, and over the years, they all add up. Now, there are plenty of people that gained much, much faster than me. People with great genetics, they would just look at a weight. I often joke and say, someone with good genetics, I say, look at your arm, now think about curls, and if your arm just got bigger thinking about curls, you have awesome genetics. But that's not true. It's a long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now you can make great gains in a short amount of time with great genetics, but if you don't keep up, you don't stay consistent, if you don't keep training hard, if you don't keep eating well, if you don't keep getting enough rest, you're going to lose progress. You're going to backslide. You're not going to reach your full potential. We all have different levels of potential. Some of you can have physiques that are much, much better than mine. Some of you will never have physiques as good as mine. We're all at different genetic levels, but the one thing we are in control of is how consistent we are. Nobody can make you go to the gym every day and train hard. Nobody can make you eat all these good meals every day. The chicken, the rice, eggs, potatoes, oats, lean red meat, turkey, fish. Eating that way every day, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of work, And I do believe out of those three aspects, the training, nutrition, and rest, nutrition is where most people fall short. They're not consistent with eating well because it takes a lot of effort. Either you have to be cooking all that food yourself, or you have to have someone doing it for you. And someone has to go out and buy all that food. Someone has to do the shopping, make sure you're stocked up on all the things you need. And then you have to cook it all and make sure, you know, your meal prep so that you have multiple servings of, you know, the meat, the poultry, the carbs when you need them, so you don't have to go out and cook every time it's mealtime. You want to have the meals prepared in advance. But the key, as I'm trying to point out to you, is consistency. If you do the right things every day, day after day, it's building. It's putting like another brick in a wall. And over time, you're going to have a structure that's far surpasses what you started with. You know, I don't like to always use myself as an example, but I started out very, very thin. When I started weight training, I was only 90 pounds. And I've hit a high of, it's like 245, 248. It was something like that. It was the highest, the most I've ever weighed. Most of the time now I stay more like 225. But the point is, it was years of being very, very consistent with my training, my eating, and making sure I got enough rest. It's not just doing those things for a short amount of time. It's doing them even when you don't want to do it, you know. Training's fun. I think most people, we all have motivation waning from time to time. But for the most part, most of you guys, you love to go to the gym. You love to train. You'll be consistent with your training. The eating, a lot of times you guys you'll start relying on things like fast food, or you'll just drink a shake or have a bar when you know you should be getting a good meal. But like I said, the meal requires effort. You have to go out and buy all that food. You have to cook mass quantities of that food. It takes more effort. That's why a lot of people don't keep up the consistency with the nutrition, with the eating aspect. The rest, you know, it's a choice. It's what do you do with your time? So you know you have to be up at 7 a.m. the next morning, let's say. When are you going to go to bed? Are you going to stay up till 1 in the morning watching Netflix, playing video games, you know, Snapchatting? I don't know what you people do with all your time. Or are you going to get to bed by 11 at the latest so you get a full 8 hours of sleep? You know, these things are under your control. Your genetics, those are what they are. You're not going to change your genetics. We all have varying levels of genetic gifts, but we all have control over how consistent we can be toward making progress. So if you're dedicated, you go to the gym, you train your hardest, you know, day after day. You don't skip a week or two or a month of training just because, I'm not feeling like it anymore. If you stay consistent with your eating every day, even when you don't feel like cooking that food, I never feel like cooking a bunch of food. I don't like cooking, but I do it. And I cook my own food, by the way. My wife stopped cooking for me long ago. She got tired of making all that food, so I do it myself. Consistently getting all those good meals in every day, consistently getting a good night's sleep so your body can recover, repair the damaged muscle tissue, get bigger, get stronger. These are the keys. That is the key, consistency. Doing the right things every day, day after day, for over the long term. A lot of people can be consistent in the short term. You know, for a month or two, they're really motivated, they're really psyched, they'll train hard, they'll get all their good meals in, they'll get plenty of sleep. Then they get distracted, like I didn't feel like shopping for any new food this week. I'm just gonna go get some McDonald's, or I'll just have a protein bar, or I'm gonna go out tonight, even though I went out last night. You know, it's all under your control. How consistent you are with your training, nutrition, and rest. If you can be consistent with those things in the long term, you will reach your goals. You'll be the best you that you can be. That's what bodybuilding is all about. You know, ultimately in competitive bodybuilding, we go up on a stage and we have our physiques compared to other physiques, and the judges make those decisions. But bodybuilding at its core is you versus you. You being better than the previous you. And you can always be better than the previous version of yourself. That's all I want to say today, guys. Don't worry so much about the perfect workout, the perfect drug cycle, the perfect diet. Try to be perfect with the consistency. Try to be very consistent. Train hard every day. Take some rest days when you need them, of course. Get good meals in, multiple good meals in every day. Get a good night's sleep every night. The better you can adhere to that, the better your progress will be in the long term. Promise you. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell thing so you know when we have new videos. And I'll talk to you later.